it's really fascinating here, right? So we're saying Diddy does this awful thing. Again, Diddy, despicable, monster. No defense of Diddy. We're asking all the prominent black people to speak out.
That's all I'm
against
saying, my
it,
humble
right?
opinion. That's
but
all I'm saying.
there is never a call for white people to denounce the, like, no one says everybody who ever met, every white guy who's ever met Harvey Weinstein needs to say something.
Yes, there was. Of course there was.
No.
Literally everyone who ever worked with him was asked to condemn it. And most of them rushed to do it.
Pierce, I want you to listen to what I said again, because you just disagreed with the point I did not make. I didn't say that everyone in Hollywood was not challenged to address Weinstein. I said there's a race piece to this. And people, by virtue of being black, are asked to denounce Diddy because they're supposed to be representing blackness in the black community. I'm saying that white people, by virtue of their whiteness...
Hang on.
This is why I said this nigga got cooked, right? He's getting cooked right now. He's getting barbecue chicken by not only Candace Owens and Piers Morgan. And while I don't agree with Candace Owens on most of the things she says. She says some right things. She says, look, I'm objective over here. I try to keep it fair. Only person I'm biased for is Cole. That's it. It's the only person I'll jump off a ledge for. That's it. Everybody else, I don't trust. So, look, I try to keep it fair over here. Last time I talked about Candace Owens on this channel, I got a whole bunch of dislikes because I said what I just said, which I don't understand. Why do I have to agree with everything that she's saying? I don't. Sometimes she's right and sometimes she's just fucking wrong. That's okay. Right here, she was right. Because this buddy fucking definitely brung race into it for no reason. Like, what are you talking about? Not every black person has to speak out on Diddy. I get you want the people around. Now, okay, the niggas around him, yeah. But niggas like Jay-Z ain't got to say nothing if he don't want to be involved. Just because he black, he should not have to talk about Diddy.
That's exactly what Candace... That's exactly what Candace just said.
I'm shutting up.
No, Mark, hang
Candace, not you.
I'm not saying every black person has to comment on it because they're black. I'm saying I've been struck by the fact there is a massively smaller number of high-profile black celebrities who have spoken out comparative to what happened when Weinstein went down. So you're right that there is a race element to this, but it's the reverse one. Hang on. Let me finish. It's the reverse point to the one you're making. It actually is skewed against the white guy. He got more of a lambasting from celebrities than the black guy who's done arguably worse stuff.
I wish I had the same race goggles. It's amazing, Mark, that you always see a race angle here. The reason why I specifically called out LeBron James and these types is because they themselves are wearing the same race goggles. They purport to be the superheroes in the black community that every time there's some sort of a social injustice playing out against a black victim, they use their platforms to speak out about it because they say, oh, it's so unfair that black people are not being believed. It's so unfair. Hashtag George Floyd, hashtag this person. So if you are going to assert yourself as a leader when black people make claims before they're proven in court, this might be a good time to do it when you have a man who had so much power in Hollywood and you just have an onslaught of black artists coming out saying that they were victimized by him. It might be a good time to use your platform. I'm calling out the hypocrisy and the double standard of that. If LeBron James had kept his mouth shut on every other issue and said nothing, I wouldn't be like, hey, why is LeBron James being quiet on this issue? I'd say he doesn't typically weigh in on anything. So it wouldn't make sense to put pressure on him to do it. That would be the scenario in which what you are saying would make sense. It's the exact opposite. I'm saying keep the exact same energy that you have had on every other black issue when it comes to your door and it pertains to a friend of yours that you were partying with. I think that's pretty sensible.
Yeah. Mark, where is
do you mind if I respond to that?
Sure.
Because there are 3 points that were made that I'd like to respond to. First thing is, I'm rejecting the narrative that I've introduced race into this conversation. The conversation
you literally said race, you wanted to bring race up.
You did.
You literally said, I want to bring race up. You literally started the conversation about race.
You did it.
All right, I'm going to ask you to allow me to finish a sentence uninterrupted the way you have Candace. Then you can hear why you're actually not correct. Hear what I'm saying. When I said I want to bring race into this, it was in response to the point that Candace had made 5 minutes prior. When you watch this on TV, y'all, or on YouTube, rewind it, and you'll see this. When she said LeBron James has spoken out for the black community, right? and historically, but isn't saying anything here. That was the first time that race was mentioned. My invocation of race was in response to that. And as you conceded just a moment ago, when you disagreed with me, you were saying that you weren't asking all, you were saying that there's a relatively lower response from the black community on this issue than prior issues.
Not black community.
Again, my invocation of race.
Not black community. High-profile celebrities.
Black celebrities. Fair enough.
It's a much smaller part of the community.
I agree with you, but the fundamental point here is when I said I'm introducing race, it was to respond to a claim that was already racialized around LeBron James 5 to 10 minutes prior. Now, to actually address the issue that I was responding to, because I didn't introduce race into the conversation, the idea here for me is when Harvey Weinstein does something, Hollywood has to respond. When Diddy does something, black people have to respond. Now, I happen to believe that as a black person with a public platform, an athlete, an actress, or a journalist,
no, Marc Lamont Hill, when Hollywood does something, everybody responded. White, black, when the Me Too movement was going on, it wasn't just white women, black women too. And it was a whole bunch of Hollywood execs that were black. Like, oh, come on. What are we talking about here? I'm all for fairness. I'm just saying. You acted like they're trying to force niggas to talk. No, niggas should just say what they know about Diddy if they feel obligated to. If you don't, then shut up. He already in jail. Fuck it.
Should respond to the Diddy thing. I don't think that we should ignore our responsibility.
So what are you complaining about?
I'm okay, but my complaint is that when black people don't do it, we are criticized differently than when the white guy doesn't do it.
Hang on. Marc, I'm sorry, but the idea that people were running around asking random white people in the street about Harvey Weinstein is ridiculous. They're not doing it.
I didn't say that.
And they're not doing it with random black people in the street either.
I didn't say that.
I'm talking.
That's a straw man. That is a straw man.
No, it's not. The straw man argument is you.
Random white people.
No, you are conflating.
I didn't say random white people. I didn't say random white people in the street. I said white people in Hollywood.
Hang on.
I said white people in Hollywood. Not white people in the street.
I understand.
Yes, my humble opinion. This is the exact guy. Since you said it on my chat, I'm gonna say it. That said that men can get pregnant because he was arguing with Candace Owens. Like I can understand like wanting to just debate her because you feel like she's wrong about everything, but at some point logic has to come into play, right? That's my only thing. Any subject. Topic, if it has nothing to do with J. Cole, see that I'll let y'all know. Look, I'm letting y'all know right now. This is me. If it ain't got shit to do with J. Cole, I don't care. And I'm being fair. I'm being fucking honest and I'm being fair, okay? I'm just gonna always be fair. So I'm always be objective over here if it ain't got shit to do with J. Cole. Once J. Cole gets into the mix, that's when we be biased. But outside of that, I'm just admitting my biases right now. Y'all know. All right, y'all know. Okay, cool. So, yeah, that was crazy. He definitely said that.
I'm conflating two things.
That's not the same.
I'm conflating.
I know you are.
High-profile black celebrities and high-profile white celebrities and how they responded to Weinstein and to Diddy. And it's been very different. The volume of white celebrities who denounced Weinstein was far higher than it's been with Diddy.
And my response to that is, when Weinstein happens, people didn't say, hey, where are the high-profile white Hollywood celebrities? What they said is, where are the high-profile celebrities? Where are the Hollywood types? They were asking Will Smith as much as they were asking Heidi Klum. When it comes to Diddy, they're only asking for black people.
Well, hang on, Candace, hang on. Again, Marc.
Hang on, I didn't finish the sentence yet. Let me finish the sentence before you disagree with it.
You're wrong.
Piers.
Candace literally mentioned Ashton Kutcher, who last time I checked is a white guy.
I did mention Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher's white.
Okay.
He's white.
Again, I want you to hear what I'm actually saying.
And I'm not trying to pile on. I'm really not. But wrong is wrong and right is right at the end of the day. And you can't. Look, if you're going to debate with Candace Owens and Piers Morgan, you got to be ready, Marc Lamont Hill. This is different than baiting with Joe Budden. Baiting with a nigga that don't know shit, cool. Baiting with two niggas that know shit, yeah, you're going to have a hard time.
I want you to actually hear what I'm saying and disagree with what I'm saying and not what I'm not saying. The conversation about Harvey Weinstein, and I challenge you to show me any piece of evidence where you called out and said, hey, I'd love to hear from some high-profile white celebrities. You never said white. You just said high-profile celebrities. Maybe to you, Hollywood just means white. But in general, the idea here for Weinstein was we want his peers to speak out. We want his peers to say something. We want white people, black people, we just want his peers to say something. But when black people don't do it, it is framed as some kind of specific or unique moral failure, and that's the idea that I'm challenging here. Again, I want everybody to speak out against both of those monsters.
Okay.
But I'm saying let's not treat one differently than the other.
With respect, the slight flaw is that Candace actually said LeBron and Ashton Kutcher. And last time I checked, Ashton Kutcher, and this may not be the case, but I believe he still identifies as a white guy.
Last I checked, you're not Candace Owens. Last I checked, you're not Candace Owens. I'm criticizing you right now, Piers, not Candace Owens. So you can't say, well, Candace said it. Y'all are not a buddy comedy here. I'm critiquing your approach and coverage of this conversation.
Right.
And you can't say, well, Candace said it. I didn't disagree with Candace. I disagree with you on that particular point.
Okay.
Marc,
okay. Let's take a little beat.
I do want to say,
what are you talking about? Well, Candace said it.
You can't say.
Candace?
I don't think you could say, I would like to introduce race, and then 30 seconds later say, I did not introduce race. I mean, the records will show you definitely introduced race. And I brought up LeBron James, and for a very specific reason, because he was quite literally at the parties, and because he's used his platform to speak out on black victimization, not because he was black. I was pointing out the astounding hypocrisy. I didn't say, let's talk about LeBron James because he's a black man. I mean, I would have brought up tons of other black people and said, where are their voices? But it wouldn't have made sense because they don't hang out with him and they don't use their platforms. And I did bring up Ashton Kutcher as well, and very many other celebrities. I'm pretty sure Chrissy Teigen is not black; she's Asian. So I'm completely confused, completely lost at what point you were trying to make there. I do think that you do tend to see things through the vein of race, because when people are just making a sound point about why it is that there is some interest in LeBron James' silence right now. And I think he should speak out because he had a friendship there and because he purports that he cares so much about black victimization, and there is a long list of black victims.
Right, and Marc,
I think it's very sound. Marc, you can disagree with it.
Yeah. And Marc, before you respond, Marc,
I agree with the point that you're making, Candace.
I want to ask you something.
Go ahead.
You've also, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said that there wouldn't...
Man, this is how you know you lost. When you got to agree, when you got to just say, fuck it, Candace, you're right. You're right. You're right. I agree. You're right. Like, when you got to agree, that's when you know the debate is over with, man.
Have been the attention on the raid at Diddy's home, for example, if he'd been a white rapper, to which I would say, if that had been Eminem at the height of his powers...
Say that again. I didn't hear you.
I believe you said before, in a previous debate or interview, that there wouldn't have been the same attention that was given to the raid on Diddy's home if it had been a white rapper, to which I would say...
say that.
You didn't say that?
No, I didn't say that. I did not say that.
What did you say about that?
You can disagree with that point too, but you wouldn't be disagreeing with me.
Okay.
But feel free to make your Eminem argument.
So apparently on the documentary, well, just to clarify, on the documentary with TMZ, that's what I'm told is where you said that.
It's hard for me to imagine that had this.
Piers Morgan is fucked up for this. He had footage ready to pull up on this nigga. He had footage ready. He's like, well, when you were on TMZ, you said this.
It's been many other celebrities, particularly white celebrities, that their children would have been in handcuffs and they would have been forced to stare down the barrel of guns and seen armored tanks. It just seemed like a lot for a raid of a music producer.
Well, they think that music producer has some very dangerous shit going on Marc Lamont Hill, and so if he's a danger, then it's safe to say his sons might be. You never know. But that's just what happens. Like, look, I understand. And at the end of the day, regardless of it, I do not think police should use excessive force on people. I think that's where we can all agree on, regardless of it. And whether that excessive force be just killing somebody for no reason or beating on them for no reason. I just think at the end of the day, police always had a control of the situation. They always had a control of the situation. Only police officer that acts like he doesn't have the control of the situation are the ones that shouldn't have badges, but unfortunately, they have badges. So, regardless of it, they were just following procedure there. They were raiding both of Diddy's homes. They raided his Florida home and his New York home. They were raiding all his houses. They were just following procedure. Anybody who was in there needed to fucking put their hands behind their back, walk outside so they can do their fucking jobs. That was just procedure at the end of the day. So regardless of it, you saying, well, if it was some white people, then they would have acted differently. And while white people do have white privilege, I'm not gonna lie, I just think that was the wrong argument to be making at this moment and at this time. And honestly, he was cooked. he was cooked. He was cooked. Charles Smith, Marc should have ducked this smoke like Cole did. Yeah. Yeah, he should have. Fuck. Why Cole gotta catch a stray, Charles? Why does Cole have to catch a stray, bro? Fuck.